Hello, my name is Annie Morin. I'm the director of the Société de Gestion Collective Artistique. I'm also president of Société Canadienne Comité Privé, and I'll also express a few opinions concerning the Union des Artistes, because the Union des Artistes, which is an association of composers and authors, has not been invited to a roundtable yet. So I don't know whether we'll eventually get an invitation. We'd also like to be able to express ourselves in the context of a roundtable. However, I will speak to you on behalf of the Union des Artistes. I think you've already heard from some of the people today the importance of extending this scheme to all new technology that might be used to copy music for personal use. Royalty for private copy means that since its creation in 2000, about $160 million have been split between different stakeholders in music, by which I mean not just 2 or 3 stars. I mean 97,000 stakeholders. So for them, it's crucial and vital. And please extend this so that, despite the fact that CD and blank tapes are going down, the sales are going down drastically, that the royalties remain, because it's money that goes into the pockets of these creators. And when people receive these checks, we get calls at Artistique, and what people say is, thank you, I got my royalty check, I'll be able to pay for my taxes. You know, there's that. And thank you, I'll be able to pay my monthly bills. And some people even said, what would I have done during the year I was getting chemotherapy if I hadn't gotten these royalties? So it's a vital source of revenue. It's one of the sources of income that means that these artists can continue to create, and that's important for Canadian culture to spread. That's the first point. Even this scheme could be spread to other things, not just to the field of sound, but also audiovisual, because people also make personal copies of films or TV shows. And in the context of a copyright reform treaties with the WIPO and others, the WPPT and others, I'm thinking of the phonogram treaty. These treaties allow for exclusive rights granted to singer-songwriters and producers of phonograms, and we would be very glad that these exclusive rights be integrated into the Act and be applied to any performance, even performances that exist when it was incorporated in the Act. So there would have to be a transitional scheme, which we hope will not get rid of these rights that authors have just acquired. Okay, thank you. It's over. Look, the little light. Okay. Please, I'd just like to ask you to invite the Union des Artistes to one of your roundtables. Thank you very much. Nicole, online comment.
I'll share with you a couple of comments. They're actually reacting to your comments. So the first one is from Silvana, and she says, regarding Pirate Bay, I absolutely disagree to the gentleman's comment that pointing to infringing materials should not be illegal. This is akin to aiding and abetting. If a search engine's sole purpose is to make money off of pointing to illegal content, they are essentially profiting from crime. And there was also another comment, this one from Alan from Toronto, and he's reacting to the songwriter's plan. Regardless if a plan like the songwriter's surcharge works or not, should not be the internet service providers be made liable for illegal file sharing and other copyright infringement, since they have control and seek even more control over content.
Merci beaucoup. Maintenant, le micro numéro 3, s'il vous plaît.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Laurent Bellon.
Laurent Bellon, coordinator of University Research for the Association of Students at the University of Montreal. In the context of a copyright act, we're expecting that blocks to research and education be stopped because they allow for greater dissemination. And we also want to encourage innovation, which is necessary for the Canadian economy in this sense. I'd like to give you a few examples of blocks that C61 has caused. I'll give you a few. For example, an article in a scientific magazine, you could copy it, but you can't distribute it to one of your colleagues. This is problematic when you're carrying out research with these colleagues. We wouldn't be able to print many copies, for instance, for a group meeting. We also couldn't have copied it on a USB key to work at home. And you can't keep a copy of an archive copy for more than 5 days. For instance, if the library had given us an electronic copy so that we could carry out work at home, if it takes 2 or 3 weeks, we become criminals in the same way. For teaching, distributing a poem that was downloaded online is not allowed in class. But if it comes from a book, it's okay because we pay royalties in order to have access to the manuscript document, but it's not applied to electronic material, which is nonsense. And it's forbidden to keep your notes at the end of the course if they're on an electronic device because it wouldn't come under Creative Commons. So these are a few examples which show that it's absolutely necessary to create an exemption for academic and research work. Thank you very much, Mr. Bédard. Four.
Oui, donc
Julien Royal, I will speak on my own behalf as a young citizen. We look at the bills that were put forward at the federal level on copyright. There are many things we will note that are fairly clear. We are heading in a direction where the piece of legislation will tell the public that what they're currently doing is illegal. And it is a reality, and this is where we're heading. The problem is that we have no solution to this. What's the use of saying to people what you're doing is illegal when you can't stop them or prevent them from doing it? We have to create a certain police of the Internet. If the sharing of files is now illegal, it'll be more so with the pieces of legislation put forward. So you'll have to create an agency that will prevent this crime from existing. This only makes sense. Well, the problem with this logic is that you end up with the following situation. Any structure cannot prevent this. The failure of the French legislation will heads in that direction. If we start to regulate the Internet, we destroy, by the same token, the very nature of Internet, which is to be free. If we give agency the possibility to spy on citizens and to manage what they do with their connections, we end up with a certain problem. Currently, we are heading in that direction. From the moment we say we should regulate the sharing of files, absolutely, we get into this dynamics, which is inescapable. What will happen, according to me, is that if ever we try to implement these measures that control freedom, well, the attitude of people will not change and will have a direct opposition of the citizens in light of this piece of legislation. It's not by saying that a gesture is illegal that you can change a trend. The ability to compensate artists, even in this digital era where there is modernization of content and where there is file sharing that can be done instantaneously, it is not through legislation that you can restrict this transfer and sharing. According to many people, you should bring about more freedom in the market. What we see in these laws is that we're trying to defend a market model that's very physical and that could not survive in the digital era. Thank you, sir.